I can't believe this, folks. Dimu is on the edge of the abyss, but before he looks in, he looks at his draft, and one and all, he's done it. He got the HRE, the single best Civ in Age of Empires 4 right now, and it is here when his back is against the wall. That's right, Numidan just one game away from making it through to a semi-final showdown with Anatan. French is what he trusts. Honestly, like, French is pretty interesting here. The map is very linear, so, like, Heavy Cav is fearlessly a little bit weaker. Against HRE, I'm kind of intrigued to see how impactful this can be. Normally, you're going to be thinking about Pro Scouts, but, like, HRE has a very aggressive timing in mind, and they're already pushing it. Spearman on the way. You just want a pro to good Hospitalier? We'll have to see in the future. I'm happy we got to see Venetians. I've seen Hospitalier a few times. And the way it works is that players draft. So we can actually see the drafts there. That's what remains to the two. Yeah, I still can't believe HRE got through. I just love how Numidan front-loaded his draft with both the new civs. Yeah, I see a problem on this one for Numu. A pretty big one at that. It's double Ford gold. You guys think of what I'm thinking? I think Numidan might be a bit pinned. Let's get predictions up. He did get the gold necessary to tech up, but having to open archers here is not going to be great. We're going to go to 2x. I think we're like 3 minutes out from live because obviously we had that crash and then had to catch up. And he's going to lame the deer. I like this from Ben. Just deprive Numidan, starve him on this map. So 12 sheep to work with compared to your 12. And obviously you've been gathering from them quicker via the prelate. Do we see mime work in this type of game? I think Archon is pretty safe and logical, but I mean, I wouldn't blame him for being tempted into the mime work corner. Feels theoretically pretty good, just bulking spears plus horsemen against, what, knights plus archers? Knights are also going to be delayed at that. And it's just going to be Archon. Yeah, so Dimu, I think the logic here is because it's 4 golds, his next objective is just to try and spam archers alongside spears. So that means you want a lot of wood. I don't think Pro Scouts is really on the agenda for him. Pro Scouts, you have to remember, it got nerfed. Some civs just don't see it as desirable anymore. I don't think the H are impossible when it comes to playing Pro Scouts. It's just the other strategies are a bit more enabled again. So does end up rebuilding the mining camp after letting it get torched down. Dimu is now just going to lane the deer to make sure he can't access anything easily. So breathing room achieved. I'm also wondering, like, what's our final matchup then? So if Dimu is able to hold here, we'll be heading into, that's crazy, Excavation. Excavation, where Dimu has both Abbasids and Order of the Dragon, while Numidan has got Malians and Byzantine. Yeah, so probably a Byzantine Abbasid matchup. Then again, Dimu does like his Order of the Dragon. If you guys have forgotten, Excavation is the map where there is 8 Forgotten Ruins, the ones that give you stone when you garrison a villager inside. So picks like Abbasids makes a lot of sense for the 2TC, as does Byzantines for the mass systems. Pro Scouts on the way. So Numidan is actually going to go for the greed. I mean, I guess he kind of has to. He has got retracted berries, but you never feel good about that. The reason why Numidan probably feels that Pro Scouts is a necessity here is that your opponent is on just a superior gathering rate with the Archon. So at least if you go for Pro Scouts and gather deer, you're competing on the rate a little. Because he'll be probably farms and sheep, which is inherently worse than deer already. And then you have survival techniques to inflate further. And war's going up. Okay, so I mean, that is definitely one way to deny Pro Scouts. This is very early walling and quite unorthodox. We don't often see people walling like this. We're 6 minutes into the game, and he's walling 2/3 of Coastal Cliff's length. That is wild ever since the nerfs. And it all becomes viable because of how slow Numidan was on his night timing due to the gold blocker. And because Dimu read it correctly that it was going to be pro scouts. Like, those details together means there's never going to be enough gold for knights. Yeah, Dimu's like, well, if I survived as long as I did in that Ottoman game, imagine what happens with HRE if I build a wall this early. This might be Louis tapping in for Dimu. Just the remote access. You know what probably happened? He probably downloaded Opera GX, used the VPN, like hooked in. He put on like a Dimu set of glasses and is like shaved his head bald. He's like, yeah, look, I'm in Sweden right now. Just check where I'm logged in on the VPN. And the smart thing about Louis doing that is with Opera GX, it didn't cost him a penny. Smart lad. I'm shocked, man, at how easily that was done. You know, when you talk to players about why they don't wall maps nowadays, they talk about it like it's the boogeyman coming to get them. Wait, does Opera GX only work for the browser? Darn. Oh, well. I mean, wait. No, I figured it out. You then get, like, the cloud services and then use the Opera GX browser while VPN logged in to then log into, like, a remote. So we're like remote accessing on the remote access. It's so complicated. Just download Opera GX. Don't think about it. Just do it. He's almost fully walled in his base, by the way, at pre-10 minutes. I guess that's because Dimmy wanted to do farms, maybe? Plus play on the deer? Oh, this is interesting. Wait, what? I just noticed he got pro scouts. Huh? Dimu's build order is pretty crazy, no? Like, I'm not just imagining that. Not really your standard order. HRE were kind of known for these delayed pro scouts back in Season 9. But the walling has thrown me off, man. The walling is pretty crazy. I mean, Dimu might not be joking around, but Numidan is no joke either. He's already got 5 knights now. Issue is he's trying to press into his opponent. And it's kind of comical. We talked about how French need pro scouts to gather deer to compete with the prelate buff on sheep. Okay, what happens when you have to compete with the prelate buff on deer? That's not a good look. Is there anything greedy Numidan could do, like 2TC? You're probably never rushing Castle Ages French. Multiple details, right? Like, what do you get out of rushing Castle? Also, you just enable HRE to do it, and they get more because of the Regnants. It's the first time HRE's been allowed for 2 years. No one knows what to do. Hey, Dimu knows what to do. Always trust in Benny Boy. I have fond memories of Dimu's HRE. I think the best memory I ever have, it was back in the days where Spearman did not brace for HRE, and he played against Viper's Roos on Highview. And Viper, he was enjoying life a bit too much. Being able to spam knights into HRE spears because they couldn't brace was a hell of a time to be playing AoE for. Poor guy. Dimu? Oh, he's going for a backstab. I don't think I'd even call this out of position. No, like, Dimu's army is scarily bigger. I think Numidan just wants away from it, because the other problem is you see the blacksmith techs are already there for Ben. Whereas Numidan is lacking. So he does just send in the scouts. He's going to try to yoink. Which is going to get denied. I don't know what Numidan's like grand plan is here other than 20 plus knights into Castle Age maybe. But look at Dimu's economy. He's got more units and he's going to go to Castle Age first. If anyone was under any doubts about HRE and their eco, with this wacky opening, he's still just miles ahead, it feels like. Yeah, who would have thought that a 40% buff on your entire economy in the first 15 minutes of gameplay would be too strong? Not to mention the marching drills. Like, I'm still a very big believer that step one on amply nerfing HRE is you simply take away marching drills from archers. Marching drills should be for melee units only. The other thing that like I think is important to keep in mind is like there's been a lot of discussion about scaling the gathering rate that Prelates gives per age. The problem with that approach is if you're not careful, you just encourage people to read tech instead of playing the game. Like for as ridiculous as HRE is, at least they play feudal nowadays. Flash coming in. Numenor not really looking like a fight that he can play here. Knights just forward into it. But limited no resistance. The Spear Blob looking pretty good. Knight count now down to just 8. The archers are not going to be consistent with what you need to clear the way. So Numenor, he tried. He failed. I think it might be time to just go game number 5. Wait, you lost to 50 Grenadiers? What counts? I'm sorry, we have to. I mean, well, Grenadiers, like, legit, did you lose to Grenadiers? Horsemen can be decent if you just don't A-click them in a line. Or just range units that have more range. Mangonels too, because Grenadiers, like, aren't that fast. The key thing when dealing with Grenadiers is just don't group up unnecessarily, and you'll be fine. It's like being against Landsknecht from HRE. Yeah, if you just A-click a melee fight into them, you're going to die. But yeah, this is... I wouldn't blame Nim if he just threw in the towel, but I think he's at least going to play for an age up. Got 12 knights to his name. Probably going to need to be Royal Institute, because if you go Guildhall, it's almost like conceding relic control. He killed all your longbows and cataphracts. Probably don't fight Grenadiers when they're standing on stone walls then. I don't know, like, I can imagine Grenadiers being, like, one of those kind of noob trap units where if you don't know how to, like, micro and you just A-click into a fight, you're probably just going to die. There are certain units that exist in AoE 4 like that. Reboldaquins comes to mind. Landsknecht. Like, as much as AoE 4 is a macro-heavy game, micro does also matter. Alright, here we go. Numenor, age up is on the way. He has got gold reserves to play with. He's playing to them now. It's going to be important. Royal Bloodlines is pretty much, I'd say, is only out at this stage. Nice. You got Opera. Dark mode base is nice. Hell yeah. Once you do dark mode, it feels like you can't go back. Yep. For my browsers, once I go black, I cannot go back. Just feels like I'm flashbanging in my face otherwise. And relics now being hoovered up. Ay. Are we really about to see a 5 relic HRE game? 4 is definitely quite feasible here. I mean, the weird thing is the army doesn't look like it should be that threatening currently. But it's the veterancy advantage, I think, that Numenor rightly fears. One thing that does worry me, and I'm glad he's finally fixing, is veterancy for spears was not there. Numenor still needs what? 45? 55 seconds. That gold might be at risk, but I think Dumu's going to slow roll this because he's getting everything he wants. He's getting all the relics. So realistically for him, Palace Wabi Rush makes a lot of sense. He's only at 52 economy. He could easily be rushing a Palace Wabi by the time he's about 60 economy, maybe 65 max. He has got a food issue though. That's also why sometimes Swabi Rush feels even better. Is because, well, if you got limited food, wouldn't it be great to get a 66% discount on all those villages? Imagine when we get dark mode on Excel spreadsheets. I think I have that. Wait, no, I had it partially working. I can get it on, like, on docs in a browser. For some reason, it doesn't work well on spreadsheets. Okay, Dumu just wants to have some fun, apparently. Like, what's that, guys? You thought the game was gonna be over? Nah. we're vibing now. I think we were like 2 minutes out from live, so we're going to take this opportunity to speed up a bit. Numenon, bless him, is going to try to attack. I mean, he went Roll Institute. It's a timing. You can't really just chill. Especially now that you've lost the relic game. Your opponent has 4 of the 5 relics on the map. Dimmu? God, this is just depressing. Like, okay, now I must be strong enough. I've got royal bloodlines. I've got cantled saddles on the way. There's nothing that can be... Why is his army so big? I just almost feel like Dimmu should have let the bodies hit the floor playing in the background. Like, yeah, Alexa, just give me the hardcore pump rock bodies soundtrack. So we'll leave on 2x until we get to the fight. Because I think they must be at like, what, 19 minutes? Because we got into this slightly late because of the random crash. Please don't crash again. Military Academy on the way. So Dimmu's going to blob even faster. Yeah, and it seems like he maybe missed an opportunity here, right? Didn't go for the Palace of Schwabia, but he's fixing the food issue now. Also, with 4 relics, you're just so hard to dive due to these Spring of placements. So what does Numenon do instead? He's going to try to make it a Sacred Site victory. Double Sacred gets locked in. He's Gathering Stone. This is going to be a double keep drop, I think. He's going to be play on the ball. Man, it does feel a bit rough for Numu. Like, this is the type of position where you look at it and you go, I kind of wish I just built a guild hall. Like, I didn't know he would just sit in his base this long. He is going for the Red Palace, though, guys. I mean, it seems greedy, but you kind of have to be greedy here. So it's going to be keep. I'm trying to figure out whether Dimmu should really be scared of 24 Knights still at this stage. He just wants the greed, though. Palace of Schwabia is on the way. Numenon's tech timing is going to be slightly worse, but he will be able to compete. And he almost has the stone necessary for the castle drop. Yeah, like, weirdly enough, this is not over. It probably should be. But there is, like, a slightly growing percentage chance for Numenon. It's not crazy, guys. Like, we're not talking about insane likelihood of a win because of the scale point now in Dimmu's economy. But there is a way. As silly as it sounds. All right, 1s if you think Dimmu's going to win this game. 2s if you think Numenon's going to seal it. Like, this is what I do to people. I hate those people that win a game and then go GGEs, right? If you're saying GGEs throughout and still lose, I'll still respect you. You gotta choose a camp early. Red Palace is up. Second castle, up. Numenon's probability to win this game, up by another 5%. It is 7 minutes on the clock. Dimmu has to be expecting this. He knows that the Sacred Site timer is ticking, and he knows it's going to be Red Palace, because when is it not Red Palace with this Civ? What he might not be ready for is the second castle. In fairness, though, like, this castle's a lot less threatening than the Red Palace, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if Numenon double keep drops on this one. Culverin time with what wood? No, seriously, like, he has barely anyone gathering wood. I do wonder if maybe Numu could have put it a bit closer. This one in particular, but I guess the castle you had to be a little bit more paranoid with. Because it kind of feels like Dimmu has let him do these things, if you know what I mean. Like with the army size that it is, he's reluctant to come out. I think Numenon did the correct thing here. Let's see, Dimmu can actually get in and get a decap. He does notice the castle. And that's probably going to be an immediate Siege Workshop reaction. Nope. Apparently we're just building more Raxes. Which kind of tracks. He has way too much food and gold and nothing to do with it right now. Are we just about to see like the most epic decap attempt by full-on zerging a Red Palace? I kind of dig that. Numenon only has 400 food income compared to what is almost a 5x advantage for Dimmu. stone has been gathered, so Ben does have a castle drop opportunity himself. Armies are going to march down the center. Is he going to go straight for the base? I mean, you actually could rush landmarks, but there'd still be a red palace. Castle just so annoying. Yeah, he's going straight down the center. This is kind of crazy, actually. I mean, it's 5 minutes on the clock. This is going to sound so weird and game furry, but like you could kind of just ignore this. Do you guys understand why? Like normally a sacred site timer like this, all the landmarks are home. No, you'll lose the game to this, but he has a landmark here on the sacred site. One of the castles is the landmark. So in a very odd way, you kind of don't have to care like you normally would. In fact, most of Numenon's economy isn't here. And also, remember, the TC is a mini Red Palace as well. We do have the first conference being queued up by Dimmu, but we're 4.5 minutes away from a win for Nimue. And he's massing cannons. This is actually sick. Guys, you don't realize the pressure of playing HRE. You're always like, oh, HRE always wins. Yeah, what happens when they don't win? Deal with that pressure. You know when you're always expected to get A's and then you don't get an A? How did that feel in life? Because right now, it looks like HRE might be getting an F grade on this one. Oh my god. No way. Castle gets denied. He can't get it up. His army is now smaller than the French one. Is he gonna lose like this? I'm kind of speechless. Like his opening looked pretty chill. I mean, is this on Numenor reacting well, or Dimmu just maybe being a little bit too calm? Maybe not respecting the sacred site win condition. It's got double cove, but it's 6 cannons. If you step up to start sieging, you can just get chased away. Now, you do have the extra 0.5 tile range, but guys, remember, cannons are quicker than culverins. Dramatically quicker. And there we go, he gets in. Goes to the trade out, 1 cove down. He just can't approach the castle. I don't think he has a choice anymore. Decides to go in. Cannons are going to retreat. That's 6 cannons for the French now. And archers are going to stand the ground against the spears. Yeah, smart move. Trade archers for spears and then send the knights in. Dimmu needs to decap ASAP. I just don't see where it's going to be coming in now. Military lead truly in the hands of Numenor. And his hands slipping around Dimmu's throat. Insane. And at this stage, when the army's so small, there's a snowball effect off the cannons. These are snipers designed to take out any infantry. You can't decap the Red Palace, you know that. Your only option is really this castle. But that's why Numenor's camping here. He knows. If you send it here, he'll backstab. And if you send it here, it just takes so much effort anyway. The villagers nearby can be the defensive crew to just shotgun everything down. One minute and 30 on the clock. Dimmu with the scariest civ that exists in Age of Empires 4. And he looks like a kid. Greased Axles is on the way. Dimmu realizes he can't kite. That's being mirrored now. Numenor is going to be 30 seconds behind. Now, the Coves are clearing the mining camps very well, but the Red Palace is still the key point of contest. And one that's going to be a big struggle. Ringing the bell means that Dimmu does not have time on his side. He can't slow roll this anymore. Has to full on send it, but the Red Palace is just shotgunning him down from the north side. This is not looking good. This is looking not only grim, but full Grim Reapered here. Knights, there's enough of them to just wipe this front line. And the cannons, they're just cutting down anything that comes nearby. Villagers under the sacred site. And that is going to be an absolute massacre. No way can you stand there against the Red Palace. The cannons are clearing anything of value. Well, I don't know if this is them holding their hands up to surrender. To go to a better home. For their own, no place like home. Dumu is just going to have to stay exactly there. Away from the semi-finals. Numenor is going to obliterate the HRE pick in game number 4. This man is a monster. 4 relics and it's HRE. And Numenor waves him goodbye in 4.